Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Robert Firestone in the flyover state of West Virginia. I don't know whoever watched the State of the Union last night. It was really entertaining when it come to the Democratic Party and the libtards. You could just see the hatred and the disdain towards Trump and us. Trump's already said it. It ain't about him, it's about us. That's who these people, ever since the 1871 Act of 1871, shelved our Constitution, Bill of Rights, and falsely allowed us to follow along with something that was false and was incorrect, period, so they could go forth and collect profit from the living, breathing, walking around, bleeding, shitting human being. I know some people's not going to understand that. My fiance went to try to do her taxes again, and it was kind of a strange coincidence, I guess. Her number for her to be called was 17, which anybody who's following the number 17 understand it's Q. Don't know if that's going to be a good sign or a bad sign or coincidence sign. I just thought it was kind of a weird coincidence. It's 2/5/2020, and again, time is 8:40 p.m. I got on here a little later today. Thank you for all the new subscribers, all of you, and thank you for everybody that's been an old subscriber and sticking with me, because like I said, I'm not totally here for everybody, but when I do find things that don't quite fit the narrative on things that's going on, forgive me, I'm smoking 90% of my cigarette intake with the 48 chemicals that's involved with the tobacco, paper, and filter process. You can look at a cigarette under a black light and you see it. See all the. It's pretty colors. The reds, the blues, the yellows, the greens. Each one of them is representing some other kind of chemical that's in that cigarette. So here's how I adjust for my intake of my nicotine. I smoke about 2 or 3 of these a day most of the time. I smoke a total of 5 to 7 cigarettes in and around up to about 12 or 1. Then when my fiance, she gets home, I go back to smoking a few cigarettes in the evening times. I'm averaging about half a pack a day. I have broke it down some days and actually only smoked about 8 a day. I'm doing, I guess, the best I can do for the habit that I got. But anyway, give my camera. All of a sudden, it's back to its unapologetic self, so to speak. I got light pointed at me. Time to time, you may hear my rooster in the background. We finally got Fred's his name. He's only about this tall. Well, let's see. Gauge. About 12 inches tall, if that. Maybe 10. Fully grown. Might weigh a half pound. We call him Fred, but also his other nickname's Nuggets. He ain't no bigger than a chicken nugget. Ain't much. If you eat him, chicken legs probably wouldn't be no bigger around than that lighter. Now, he might have a little bit of a breast on him, but it probably wouldn't equate to about 3/4 of a pound of fat. He might weigh 1.5 pounds soaking wet. But anyway, on to what I was going to get into. All right. the other person I was mentioning before that mentioned Trump, my concerns and me being baffled about what truth is. Her name was Heather Ann Tucci, and Randall L. Bean was the two individuals that went to jail over a whole lot of money that belonged to them. It's in their name. It's in their Social Security number. Just like every one of us has a bunch of money in our names and in our Social Security number. We have accounts in our names all over the world under our Social Security numbers. They don't want us knowing this. People think that I'm crazy when I say this. I've looked it up for myself. I don't know how many come back under my name. Different accounts all over the world. Israel, Africa, under my name and Social Security number. If you're willing to do the due diligence and go see for yourself. But here's the thing on the Heather Ann and Mr. Bean. Was they controlled opposition from the clowns, known as the CIA, or was they controlled opposition from the banks? Or was they there to point out to all of us what was going on, but got used in the process too? Then nobody can't seem to find Bean and have a conversation with him. Heather Ann Tucci's still in prison somewhere there in California. Harvey Dent has been on the path of that, trying to get to her to ask her some questions. But somehow or another, they say she's there, and they won't allow him any kind of questions to her or from her. Something to at least tell the outside world she's there and things are being figured out. There in her suit with the bullshit law, being corporate law, she names Donald Trump in that lawsuit with all the mentioned banks, organizations, and everybody that was involved. I just find it kind of strange now. It hits me, who are they? What was they really about? What was really going on? I got to sit back and think. And do these people really exist? I don't know. Okay. On to the next little thing here. Cindy K. Courier. She has been in and around for the last 10, 12 years, the same path I've been traveling. Her name keeps popping up. Her video keeps popping up. Now, she's claiming she's going to be running for president under natural law. Okay? So, how is she changing the law? I've not seen her yet do anything of this sort. Okay? Okay. I'll be back and forth in this conversation a little bit with y'all and myself on some things that just don't make no sense. Okay. I myself is still going to vote for Trump, even though I feel like, well, this will be the first time I ever voted in my life. Even though I feel like it's probably a waste of my time. The only reason I can do and say what I'm saying about voting for Trump is I got to go by the biblical narrative of Trump and the tree. And his tree is very fruitful for the United States people, but it's also fruitful for all the wrong people. Then he has a parallel money structure running right along with the banking system to change us over to a new currency and a new way of doing things, which the new way is, the funny thing is the new way is the old way. Okay. Question is, for me, the old way. Okay. What old way is he talking about? Okay. This Act of 1871 for the ones that really uses their intellect to be smart enough to go read this, okay, and get into what they done to us, okay. They couldn't tell us that the Constitution was over because there were some things done when the Constitution was made up and for its people, and also the Bill of Rights. They knew they could never take our real Bill of Rights because it was God-given, okay? They'd have to have God come back to this earth and televise God telling us that we no longer have these rights, okay? Which I'm not beyond these foolish idiots even trying something like that to make us really believe that God's here and he's telling us he's taking our rights. But that's beyond truth or fiction, okay? If they're going to put us back up under our real laws and govern us, is it going to be the same governance? Is it going to be the same old people taking and making us believe that they done made us a fudge cake with all the toppings, and we bite down into it and it tastes like shit? It's shit, okay? I know some of my analogies on things is a little left-handed, right-handed, a little weird sometimes, but okay. Laws. Do they exist? That's the first thing we got to ask ourselves. Does law, as we know it, really exist? I've been saying for over a month now, did the Constitution, did it ever exist? Does it exist? Okay. According to the Act of 1871, they had to make us believe that it was still in play. At the same time, they went forth and changed the whole infrastructure of our government to take it away from us, to make us indentured slaves to it from cradle to grave. Never said nothing about it, but they made us keep believing in unicorns and fairy tales, okay? Because the best slave is one that don't know they're a slave, and that's the game we've been playing for many years, ever since the Act of 1871, okay? They're going to change these things. Let's see. If so, knowing that these laws was felonious against its people in a manner to where it governed us to the poorhouse, what laws are they talking about implementing for us as a nation of people to put us back in the proper perspective that was stolen from us? Okay, how many times did the United States go through bankruptcy? My understanding, I think it was 3 times. Okay, now every time that the United States went through a bankruptcy, it lost its sovereignty. These are questions that nobody's asking or wanting to answer nobody about. Okay, what's the hidden agenda behind that curtain, that veil? Who actually is running Oz? What's going to come about it when Dorothy finally gets to go back to Kansas, which is known as us, under a real common law and a real rule of law and a real constitution and our so-called civil rights. What is it going to be? Who is it going to be? How is it going to be? Are they going to use the laws they have now, okay, to change it and put it back to its original perspective? If that's the case, then that means as soon as they change it, it was null and void in the first place because they used the same bullshit laws that we've been under for many, many years. So, how are they planning on doing this? They still keep us under their corporate thumb with the law of 1871. That's what they're doing now. That's what is going on in this world. And we're in the United States. Well, you can incorporate the rest of the world because that's what they wanted anyway. Because greed has no stop. It don't understand, well, I got enough. Greed don't believe that. Greed believes that there's never enough. No matter how fat and happy they are, or who they control, or who they manipulate, they always need more. Okay, to the president, please let me know how this is going to be done. You can call me a dumbass, you can call me an idiot, okay? But tell me, us and me, the truth, and put us on the same level of the game that's being played. At least it would be a little bit more fair to have a better understanding. I cannot help millions of people that will not get out of their eggshell known as their mind control. Okay? It is so fragile and easily broke, but at the same time, they'll stick a piece of duct tape over it to fix the hole. I seen it yesterday. I had a doctor's appointment, talked to a lady. She was probably in her mid-40s. She hated Trump. And then she kept coming up. I kept, kind of asking her. I was trying to do it gently. I was trying to have just a conversation with her about it. I wanted to know why she hated Trump. She kept coming up with all these excuses and reasons. And I asked her finally, I said, now, is this something of your own heart that you feel? Or is this something that the news media or your neighbors or somebody laid out to you as being gospel and truth? She wouldn't answer me. She didn't believe them, but she believed. I mean, this is what was gathering. She didn't believe them, but she believed what everybody else was throwing at her. Just like the Act of 1871, the bullshit that was involved, that's still being involved, even this so-called rule of law. If Barr considers himself a smart individual, which everybody pats him on the back and says he is, how is it going to change any of this if he uses the same law that he governs under now? How is he going to put anything back in its rightful place by using the known fictitious lies, treasonous law that exists right now? How are you going to do that? This is things that, here again, I'm pulling back the veil, asking the questions that I don't see nobody else asking. Very few people. They hint on that line, ride that little sharp edge, but never cross it. I'm crossing it. All right. There was an individual in the 80s wrote a book, I think it was called The Pale Horse. Bill something or another, I can't think of his last name. He went into detail in this book on how to take the deep state down. And a lot of his infrastructure that he had written down how to take it down. He was an insider too. Ex-CIA, I can't remember what he was, but he eventually, somehow or another, I think he stepped down and got away from it because he seen himself being sucked into it. he was going to be overtaken and sucked into it, and he got away from it. But anyway, he goes into detail on one is you're going to need an insider, but don't believe in the insider ways. And also be somebody of well-known name and well-known wealth. That was Trump. Okay. This part of that book has come true. Okay. Now, for us to actually see any change in any of these things, a lot of these people is going to have to be taken down, thrown away, thrown in prison, hung, shot, whatever the case may be, because most of them, if you go back to the original law, I hate using that damn word, man. If we go back to the original format of what things are to really be like, not what they fantasize and hand us the reverse in the mirror, but still makes us believe that something's really righteous, and it's not. This is where a lot of people are having a hard time breaking it down up here in their own heads when they've been at least 3 to 5 generations of this being taught and shoved down in our school systems, our TV, our newspapers, everywhere you look, everywhere you stick your eyes or hear of anything, it's the same old corporate laws and constructs. Okay. That book, there was another individual. I can see his face, but I can't think of his daggone name right now. He breaks down how words work. And you can change one or two little words in a legal document and change the whole document by changing one or two words. That's what they've done to us with our Constitution and our government. Okay? But most people don't understand that. How these little discrepancies can change the whole thing. Instead of being banana pudding, it's chocolate pudding. Okay. I don't know where people are going to stand in all this. I don't know if they're going to actually understand these things coming. I shouldn't be worried because I have a grasp about that much of what's really going on. And I do understand that there's buttloads of money that nobody's wanting to talk about. I know there's buttloads of these so-called laws they're supposed to change for our benefit, putting us back under what our forefathers wanted. But I keep hearing them use Democrat, the democratic process. It's a fucking republic. Okay? Even Trump's using that fucking word. Don't understand. Okay? Other than maybe he's using it for the retarded people. I don't know. But you're going to take something known as the corporate law and use the corporate bank known as the justice system and the courtroom, okay, and try to hand us back what is rightfully ours by birth. We just happen to be further along in time. But we are heirs to the republic. We are heirs to a whole lot of things that a lot of people don't or not going to understand. He gets rid of the Fed. There's no more IRS because the IRS was the strong arm for the Fed to go out and collect their debt. Okay? Good. That sounds wonderful. How are you going to reason with people knowing, okay? And every day that this keeps dragging on, more and more people start understanding that there's quadrillions of dollars sitting around waiting on us. Okay? A lot of people, they're going to be probably asking me questions about it, this, that, and the other. And if y'all end up with comments wanting to know about the money, I'll turn you on to some people, and y'all can go back through the process that I went through to see what they're saying is for real. Because the corporate infrastructure, they knew when the Act of 1871 and the bankruptcy was happening, the United States was no longer sovereign again. They was in debt. They couldn't hold up to their word. They lost their sovereignty. There's 3 different times, and my understanding, I think 3 different times. Don't hold me to that one, because I remember, I think there's been 3 times. Okay. This Garcia and Narcia thing was supposed to happen in the 90s. Just think how different our world would have been if that would have happened. Okay? They had to threaten Bill Clinton with a bullet to his head right there in the Oval Office. Our military did. Okay? My understanding, that law has been laying there and has been incorporated into our infrastructure. But it's running parallel with their bullshit law. Okay? The Garcia and Narcia, no, I'm not pronouncing it quite right, but people go look that up and look at what comes with that. It's a full benefit to every damn one of us, other than the corporate bureaucrats, which they jumped on the train. It'd be a benefit to them too, but they don't want their percentage. They want it all. That's a problem. It's always been a problem. You got a car that's got 4 wheels, you got 1 spare. That's wisdom. If you got a car and you got 10 spares, that's being foolish. Okay? They want the 10 spares. Anyway, y'all, I just, like I said, I ripped the veil back and started asking questions for myself when things don't quite, it just don't make a whole lot of sense to me. How they're going to do things, change things, and go forth and hand us back a republic. Okay? When knowing that the laws that's standing right now are the ones that govern us right now. Okay? The court systems, we're not supposed to be paying for a driver's license, but we do. Unless you're considered commerce. Okay? I know some of y'all out there maybe drives a tractor and trailer. Okay, that's commerce. We drive cars. We drive passenger vehicles. We should not be paying for a tag. We should not be paying for the taxes. None of this. We shouldn't be paying for a license. But we do. All of these rules and regulations that's been handed down on us from cradle to grave is a way to drain us dry. But we've gotten so used to it throughout the last 10, 15, 20 generations, or however long it's really been, that we have become the slave that's happy. I ain't so happy after you start finding out the truth. Okay? There's an anger process comes with this. And it goes through levels. And you find days where you can be happy and content and know things are happening in the right direction. Then there's days that you see through even your own happiness and your own truth and see the problems with what they're trying to claim and do. I ain't got nothing against Trump. I feel like he's trying to do the right thing, but there's that counterbalance, that weighing, okay, of things even in our own minds that don't make a whole lot of sense. But people, we all got to gather from that. It's pretty obvious. You look out the window, it's raining, it's raining. Look out the window, it's sunny, it's sunny. Well, this gray area that we keep living in has given them power above and beyond where it should be, even over our own minds. Because it keeps us speculating, it keeps us wondering, it keeps us worried, it keeps us running in 40,000 different directions. Instead of us standing under one, okay, just like our forefathers. There wasn't 1,000 different ways to divide everybody back then. Everybody had pretty much the same common goals in life, and everybody had the same outlook and heading in the same direction. Okay? But look at all the crap we got now that's polluting what we should be paying attention to. Also, remember this number. In the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 5th District Court, date December 18th, 2019, Lyle W. Casey, Clerk of Courts, number 19.111, declares Obamacare, okay, unconstitutional. I'll leave that with y'all too. Peace to all y'all. Thanks again for the new subscribers. Thanks for all the old subscribers. I'm not really, I don't, well, maybe I am to a point, clarifying some things for some people. But at the same time, it's also opening up a whole nother can of worms after that veil gets ripped back. Peace to all y'all. We all got to start thinking for ourselves. And the sad part is, we're also going to have to be doing something we ain't never done before, most of us. That's engage in the bullshit that they done laid down on us.